What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Panels on Pages. My name is Dalibor Zujovic. I am the indie hype man. Today, I am going to be joined by Anthony Stokes. Stokes, the writer on social media and writer of such books as Decay, Tap or Die, and a bunch of other stuff that I forget because I'm bad at remembering names. So, we're going to be talking about a hot button issue of the moment. We're going to be talking about the new rules for Kickstarter. If you have not seen those, I'm going to put those up on screen right now. Here's some of the changes, and we're going to just dive into it and see where we're standing. Because I posted a little thing and kind of got a little pushback from people, and Stokes is always great for a conversation. So let's jump into it. Are you still on? Are you still on Twitter? Like I don't really hang out on Twitter no more. So is it popping off over there?
Bro. Yeah, I don't know what the reliable social media platform is, so
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know that any of them are reliable anymore, man. That's the thing is like where we are as far as culture, like everyone kind of the like fear, the thing that was fear mongered into us like several years ago of like, oh, you don't want to be in an echo chamber. You don't want to be in an echo chamber. And it's like everyone's kind of just gone off into their echo chambers.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough and it makes promotion harder. It makes no, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right, well let's just kick it right off, man. So the recent changes to the Kickstarter have been like I didn't know this was coming. This somebody just posted about this. I was like, this can't be real. So I went to the site. I read the changes. I read the rules, and it is real. They are essentially fully banning nudity when it is when it, essentially in any reason that isn't deemed strictly artistic, I guess. But even then, it seems like essentially if there's any sex in a thing or if it is about sex, you can't have nudity, which
Yeah, I
is
mean the core problem is that what you it seems like you picked up on is that the rules are contradictory. Because we had somebody specifically talk to another creator and say you can label it as spicy, you can't do an SFW. So it seems like a bit of a minefield in terms of
okay.
what's allowed and what's not. And I think actually ruling with an iron fist would be preferable if you know what's going on versus like whatever's going on now. Where I mean, you could look on the platform right now. There's some stuff that is against TOS that's still up there.
Right.
So it's the Wild Wild West right now, and it's just not that's not ever what Kickstarter's been. Like at a certain point, by the time you do your fifth, sixth Kickstarter, you expect a fund, and you start to assume that you will get the steady stream of income, at least in regards to comics. And it seems like that might be coming. I don't want to say come to an end, but now it's like shaky. Um, so it's tricky for sure.
So what I wanted to talk to you about the most, because we've sort of touched on this offline, as the kids say,
Yeah.
in a bit for some time back. And I think I don't know that this is specifically targeted at people who sort of, in my opinion, overuse what I call titty covers to
Right.
to sell their product. I really do think this is more targeted towards. There's just like a lot of porn being sold on Kickstarter, and it's really, as like a consumer, it's made it really hard for me to browse Kickstarter during the day, man. Like I can't. It's like, oh, I get an email. It's like, oh, check out these new campaigns that are on Kickstarter, and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Okay, a little fantasy. I see some knights, some swords. All right, cool. Let's check it out. And I scroll down like one scroll. No pitch, no nothing. It's just like, check out our titty covers. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Can
I
I?
just like, and this is the problem with the algorithmic, because me and you can have two different, you know, Kickstarter pro
Oh,
like,
100%. Yeah.
and it's also with social media. It's like, oh, you don't say this when this happens. Like, who says that? When I go through Kickstarter, I don't see a lot of porn. Like, I see, and I guess that like it's so much of the conversation was a problem because what you might call porn and what I call porn could be completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Sure.
And I don't think it's very rare, for instance, that Pat Chan makes porn. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah,
a majority of his stuff would be I would describe as erotic at its most at its most I don't want to say salacious, but whatever the spiciest it could
right.
be. So then I'm sitting there like I'm looking at Kickstarter right now and I just don't see it. I don't. I'm looking through and I see a lot of fantasy. I see some horror. I see, so I feel like it's overstated. I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like it is overstated how much of this stuff is on there. And I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I can only go based off of my algorithm and what I see, but when you hear people talk about it, you would assume that it's like 4-to-1 porn comics to safe for work stuff, and it takes one scroll through to me to see that the majority of the books, are just regular, with granted all sliding scale, but just comic books.
For sure,
Uh,
for sure. And
yeah,
like you said, it is very different. Like perception is a big factor of it, is like what people consider to be porn, right? Like I will
yes,
say, I don't, I'm not trying to be like a, a glass house, casting stones kind of thing. I've got Destiny New York. I've got the collection. I've got
yeah,
Only Friends with Pen, right? But I would personally, I would say like Only Friends with Pen is like, there is, of course, there's a narrative. I actually think it's an adorable
yeah.
narrative, but like it is literally about a sex worker. Like there's just
I
no
don't
way
think it being
around
about a
that.
sex worker makes it porn. Like I wouldn't say Nora is porn. Like I would say Debbie Does Dallas is porn, so
I think it's the
I don't know.
epitome of porn.
That's right, right. I don't and if you want to sit here and tell me that Only Friends with Pen is pornography, like I'm not gonna jump down your throat. I would say even in Pat's catalog, that is the minority. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, 100%.
and if it's the minority for Pat, then I think if it's the minority for Pat, then I'm not saying it'd be a 1-to-1. That would be the minority for everybody or the platform. But like also, um, I think you could probably still launch OnlyFriends with Pen, even with the maybe it'd be dicey, but even with the new rules, like at least as they're stated, as it was communicated to us. But like I think the core problem is who the rules are just vague, and then it's two different entities. It's Kickstarter and Stripe, and they almost seem to be operating independent of each other in a sense.
So is there this is something that I didn't find, but is there a separate set of rules that Stripe is enforcing besides what is on Kickstarter's rules?
Yeah, yes,
Oh,
absolutely. So
interesting.
a lot
But so
of
like how are you supposed to know, like as a creator? So let's say if you're not like super dive deep into how Kickstarter functions, right? You're a new creator, you want to put a comic book out and you say, hey, it might have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you look at the rules, and based on the Kickstarter rules on the platform that you're jumping onto, it fits, right? You're like, cool, this passes muster, we're good to go. Are you supposed, like, are you now expected to, like, well, now I need to do a deep dive as to how Kickstarter works, who they work with, and who is going to affect whether or not I can even get funding once it's funded? Like there's just like a lot of layers to that. Like now I got to work, and now I, as you know, I've got my day job, and now I'm doing side gig,
yeah,
and now you want me to also figure out the organizational structure and like how everything works within a company that I have no relation. I'm just using their product. Like that
yeah.
doesn't make sense.
And
Like,
that's the core problem. So you made a post that was like, I don't want to misquote you, but I mean, if you want to say what the premise of your
no, I mean,
post
I
was.
basically said like, if it's their site, they get to make the rules, and if it doesn't work for your product, you go elsewhere. Right? It's the Kickstarter is not the only game in town. There are not
Thank you.
that many, but it's still
Yes.
not the only game in town. And I think there's like there was like I really wrote like four versions of that post, and I backspaced all of
It should
them.
have been five. It should have been five. And this is kind of problem to me is like I said, the discourse is shit. And sure, you are going off of the information that's not yeah, I guess you're going off the information that's to you, but it feels like so many people are just trying to get a takeoff. where it's like, yo, this is people's, like I said, this is people's livelihoods. Like I'm thinking at least a year out, I can release X amount of books on here, boom, boom, boom. And now it's shaky. And then like the core problem I have with it is that again, if Kickstarter was being consistent, then you wouldn't have a complaint from me. Like it would suck, but is it allowed or not? Like, and it's kind of like you know what I'm
Well, that's
saying?
the thing.
So
So,
how
from
do
my
I go and
perspective,
then plan out the rest of my catalog or rest of my release if I know that randomly one of these might get suspended? Like that sucks. Like that's
I
shitty.
mean, this
Like
kind of rule change feels like it should come with like an inherent, like, human review process. Like, hey, we're introducing these new rules, like, to like help bridge the gap into like the new set of rules. Every campaign is going to be reviewed by like a physical human member of the staff who like has been trained on what is and is not allowed. Like that's how this kind of thing should go, because it's like up until a couple days ago you could do a lot, and now you just can't, or maybe can, or maybe you can if you take this image off of it. It
and
suddenly it's
that's the
become, like you said,
problem.
it's a minefield. Whereas 2 days
Yeah.
ago, as long as it didn't show a nipple on the platform, you were
Yeah.
fine.
That's the problem, and I wait if I could give constructive criticism, it's like you use your resources, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it. I'm on the more invested side, and luckily my livelihood in the sense of like my ability to make comics will be potentially disrupted, you know what I'm saying? Like for sure. But and like in terms of like, can I pay my bills? No, I'm lucky, you know what I'm saying? Or, but for some people it's gonna be cooking. There's frankly just misinformation. And there's so many Kickstarter creators and most of them, are available and willing to communicate these concepts and these ideas. So to just say something like that, and while you can say that there are there's other platforms, like not really, like kind of like in the sense, and even because it's one thing that okay, you can do it, but how well can you do it? If you can do erotica, but you can't have anything suggestive, who's gonna buy it? And then why would I go? Because erotica is kind of like in that in between. I can go anywhere and buy erotic comics. You know what I'm saying? Like I can go to like Dark Horse, what is it, Black Label, Image, like
Vault.
there's all kinds of places where I can get erotica. Like,
have
and
you
if
have you read what was it, Money Shot?
no, it sounds good though.
Money Shot to me is, that's like, there's just no way around that. That is a porno comic. Like, I
Got
couldn't call that erotica. Like, the premise is we're gonna go and make porno to fund this science thing. Like, the premise is we're going
yeah,
to go make porno.
right,
So
right, right,
like,
right.
and it's like, it was on shelves. Like, it was on comic book store
That's crazy.
shelves. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it was part of the regular subscription catalog. It was part of the regular, order system. You didn't have to go through hoops to do it. Obviously, there's name brand value. Vault is an established, publisher, etc. But
Yeah,
like, it's not to like, at no point, I don't think that anybody in the space, at least that I've seen, I'm sure there are some, but that I've seen, I don't think anybody's saying like these comics shouldn't exist, or these comics shouldn't be available. Like, Faithless is another one. Faithless is like, well, I would say that's definitely leans more into like a horror erotica. Uh, it's a great read, fascinating, like how they uh, approach the material. But like, um, it's again, it's like this stuff exists, this stuff is available, and I just think if this was going to be like, hey, we don't want like younger people, like younger kids who are accessing the site for the first time, coming across, like, vaguely blurred titties and assholes and shit.
yeah,
Okay, well then you turn on an age, like, hey, are you of this age? Cool, you can see this much or
right.
this much.
The
Every
problem
other
also with
website
that
has
is
that.
the problem with that is why would you implement that if comics was as big as the tech part of Kickstarter because comics are also like the fifth or sixth most popular.
Sure.
Um, maybe it moves up or down or something, but like you're at the most the fourth highest, and as I said, at least at how I feel, the porn amount is overstated. So it's like a minority of a minority. Like, um, and so it's like, why would they do that? Like at that point, but also who knows if that's and this again, this is the problem is who knows? Like who we don't know what the core problem is. And the issue is the strength of the platform lies in the belief in the platform. So the customers think, okay, I can go to Kickstarter, and this it goes back and forth, right? Like it's a push and pull. So it used to be, hey, back in the Kickstarter is a dice roll. And then it's like, okay, cool. Well, now you got your Pad Shins, you got your Charlie Stickneys. This is a more viable way to get into comics. So people are taking it more seriously. Like, I don't know if Gemini Comic Supply was around, for instance, in the 2014. Like somebody can correct me, but like theoretically, there's more places to print comics now, etc. And then now the backers are like, hey, or I felt like more creators, honestly, but hey, there's too much NSFW, so it's always a push and pull. Now, if the backer and the creator are like, I don't know what's allowed, why would I go to Kickstarter? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's bad for everybody. Like, I think some people are definitely celebrating, and I think some people are like, yay, now like this the little guy will be able to survive, but the reality is like you want the reader base as high as possible. You don't want the reader base to drop. That's just bad for everybody. And if you're new and like you said, if you're new in comics and you don't know, like my network is full of like, really successful creators, really forward thinking, proactive creators. What if you don't have that when you just started out? You'd
Right.
be fried. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel you on that. Like it's 100% something that this should have had some sort of community voting. This felt like it should have definitely had some
In a
sort
best
of.
case scenario, or you mean like
Yeah,
reasonably
I'm saying
accept?
in a best case scenario. I mean,
Got
like if they wanted this to go off well, and like, hey, we really want to like we like, and it could have straight up been like, hey, we've seen some abuse of our system because of X, Y, and Z. So then like what has been the problem that they're trying to address, because like you said, the rules are vague and they're not really saying anything about it. They're just like they just drop some new rules.
yeah,
And they're not
yeah,
like, there's no like keynote that they drop like, hey, this is what we saw, this is the reports we got, these are the complaints we
right.
received, this is what we're trying to address. And in a golden age scenario, like this is what we're trying to address, we're going to open up this like community comment period, like, hey, this is what we're trying to accomplish. What is the community, like the people who use this thing, the people who are on here putting their money up, putting their time, putting their energy up, what is the best way you guys think that we should address this problem? Because we have like this is obviously a big enough problem that it's come to the highest levels, and we feel like we have to address it somehow. So
Yeah, I just think and it might just I mean, like we all have day jobs. It might just be some rumblings or something, and then hey, that's today. Oh, we thought we had 6 months. No, it's today, like and I mean, this is just theory. This is also the problem, is like let's start qualifying what we're saying is like speculation or what I'm saying, or rumor, what have you. But somebody told me that essentially it's not even Stripe, it's the banks. The banks don't want this kind of thing because it has a higher rate of chargebacks than say, I don't know, like jerseys or something that's not
I see what you're
like,
saying.
and if that's the case, then you can't even really blame Stripe. Like what do you do in that? What do you do in that instance? And so I don't want to blame Kickstarter necessarily because like this has been going on since 2023.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, I remember when they were trying to do this to OnlyFans.
yeah, and then people are like, why can't they do what OnlyFans did? And it's like again, if you people are just stupid. This is like so frustrating for me is because people think because something works the other thing, and
Right.
Kickstarter is unprecedented. It's so bizarre and it's so unique. It's a one to one. So one, like I said, the NSFW stuff is a small part of like a medium sized piece of the pie. And also they just have more money. You know what I'm saying? Like they just have way more money that they can find alternates. And yeah, I mean, essentially, I just want people to just have conversations, like communicate, talk to the people, that are like have a vested interest and stuff like
Yeah.
this. And if we do that, maybe we can find an alternative, or maybe you know what I'm saying? But like it just feels like everybody wants to get a takeoff, and the people that are like, hey, everything's going to be okay. You can't even the what Kickstarter's guidelines are saying and what the Kickstarter is saying and what the Stripe guidelines are. They're all different. They're all different. I don't know how you have any faith in this as a creator of anything. And I know somebody that got hit with they said that a piece of art was AI. They said that, like, and it wasn't. So it's like now that opens up more things. Now is or they had to select yes, this is AI, which is like I mean really bad that so they may not even be using humans to like to review this stuff,
Almost
and
certainly. Almost
and we all
certainly.
know like oh we all gotten a ban from Facebook for saying something like mad, so I just think we need to just cool our jets and just slow things down and just also understand that we may not get a resolution for this. You know what I'm saying? There may not be a clarity in this. And this is just life in comics. And it's unfortunate the timing sucks because Marvel's downsizing, Mad Cave is downsizing. I don't know any places that are actively looking for submissions. Image has open submissions, sure, but like that also means essentially if you have open submissions, I mean the bro, you could submit Invincible right now, and like who knows if anybody's even watching if everybody gets to publish, So it's like their avenues are just getting smaller and smaller, and Kickstarter was like the one place where you could have been all right, and now it's like okay, not even that. Now we don't even have this. And if you knew what you do, but if you're mid level, what do you do? Like you're not big enough to strike out on your own, but it's 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 tough, man. It's tough.
Let me ask you a question though. So do you think that the potential loss of I guess backers, if if this content is not there,
Yeah.
the backers that are looking for exclusively this kind of content, and maybe then sort of trickle down, they see something else and pick up other things. um you think that, I mean, you said it's a minority of a minority, right? So like is the purchaser base, the client base, is it big enough that it's gonna affect people who aren't making comic books about that stuff, right? Like I would say,
Yeah.
um see, like
So
I
it's not unlike an economy, right? So in the economy, you want people spending more money. The more money people spend in an economy, the better, because the dollar is circulating consistently. When people stop spending, that means that anything essential starts to suffer. If I have $1,000 to spend on Kickstarter a year, right? And I love me some Pat Shane, I love Chris Moses, I love Bad Bug. There's nothing that says that all $1,000 of that dollars is going to not safe for work stuff. And there's always an opportunity that you could convert a person like that with something that looks really cool. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't want that. And even if that person doesn't, the next person that sees the project boost up in the algorithm because of that previous purchase might buy something and buy something else. Like you never know. In the best case scenario, as many people would be on the platform as possible. That would be the best thing for everybody. You don't want to see anybody leave the platform because then nobody's getting that dollar anymore. Now, what is the is but also like and some I was talking to somebody and they said this, like it's like comics are not an industry where you can lose 10% of the reader base and just be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like you extrapolate that across so many projects, so many different creators. Like that's not a little bit of money. That's a lot of
True,
money.
true. I don't know. It's like I see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying, and it's obviously we're gonna see how how it all shakes down, and I
We
just
might
so
not. It might always change. It might be quicksand. It might change. It might get better for a little bit. We do not know. There's no direction on this thing. There's no compass. We have no clue. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well,
Like,
that's the thing. We don't know. Again, like I was saying earlier, we don't know what the actual issue that they were trying to address with this was.
yes, yes.
If it's
That's
just
that's a
like
yeah.
if it goes back, three levels up, up the chain, and it's just the banks don't want to pay for people, like don't want to help process payments for titty pics or whatever. Like if that's all it breaks down to, that's nothing we can control. There's just
No,
nothing
yeah.
we can do about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like if there is like if it was something where there were complaints, if there was something like if there was something that is community based or user based, that's
Yeah.
like, hey, this is like interfering or this is becoming a problem or whatever, um, then that's something we could address. So that's something we could see if it changes, if it does help. But like you said, there's no direction. It's just like, here we drop some new rules, new guidelines, and people shit is getting shut down. So now it's like, well, damn. So it's like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
uh oh man, I'm so bad with remembering fucking names. That's like my biggest flaw. That's my like biggest sign of aging right now is my brain is just like Carissa. That's what I was looking for. I was like I couldn't think of her name. I was like we were just talking about this. So Carissa does a series that I don't think. I mean, from what I've read, I haven't read all of it, but she does Worthy Chaos and a spinoff series for that
Yeah.
universe. And I wouldn't say she has anything like really explicitly like sexual in that series. Like there's like sexy characters or whatever, and she's had like titty covers or whatever variants, but like in my head, like my like optimistic thought process is she like quote unquote she doesn't need those covers to sell that book because the book is good and the art is good and it's all the whole experience has been good and there's a fan base. So to me in my head, like my optimistic self, like you don't need that to sell it, like with you with what is the like I said, terrible with names. Tap or die.
Tap or die. Yeah.
I dug it out. I dug it out. It's in there. Like, it's like I have it, but like you had an NSFW cover and
Yeah.
but like that book is not about sex, right? It's a
Yeah.
wrestling book. So it's like is there moments? Sure, but like that's not what it's about. And like in my head, I'm like, well, you don't need that to sell that, but like it sure as hell don't fucking hurt.
Well, you might need it in the instance of tap or die because what constitute what getting flagged? Do you need these sexual elements? No, but wrestling is essentially they're wrestling in lingerie, which they explicitly, I mean, not lingerie necessarily, but athletic gear, like
Yeah, yeah.
and I've seen some of the clips, her stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean, some of that stuff, I wouldn't, I don't think anybody should feel comfortable launching anything on Kickstarter. I like, uh, I, I, I understand the need to try to find a workaround, but we don't. To find a workaround, you have to know the issue, like you said.
Right, right.
If we don't know the core issue, and if they and what's worse is if they're flagging stuff for being AI, it doesn't matter. And then now that brings up a question again, speculation. Are they just hitting stuff with? Now they can just hit stuff with an AI claim, that they don't like
Dude,
theoretically.
dude,
I
so
don't
I
think Kickstarter is
recently
doing that, but
I did a roll to read a couple weeks ago, and I ended up reading Crescent City Monsters, and Newton got a really great artist for that book, and it the witch hunt for AI. Like this book existed well before fucking AI, right?
right,
But and
yeah,
I know it's not. Like I know with all my logical brain that it's not. But I'll turn a page and like first glance, I'm looking at something and my brain's like, is this? And I'm like, it's not possible for it to have been.
yeah,
This came out before any of this shit was even remotely quote unquote good. So like like I logically know it's not, but like we've gotten to this place where now we're labeling anything. And I'm sorry, I'm unfortunately I'm a perpetrator as well. I've said that to somebody. I'm like, man, this looks like it's AI generated, and they were real upset because they were like, here's my fucking process, bitch. And I was like, yo, my bad. Like I
I think it's
completely, and
like,
I shouldn't have done that. That's because, but again, it's like we've gotten into this mindset of like trying to like scope it out so that we can like, I don't know, point out like the wrong people, like the bad people. I don't even know what it is for. Like, what's the purpose of it?
yeah, I don't think the witch hunt is a good idea unless the person is claiming it's AI. Because yeah, you would be somebody. I mean, yeah, of course, people describe my stuff, bro. You call my shit AI, bro, it's gonna be a fucking problem. Like rightfully so. You know, and that's another thing. That's a whole other conversation, right? Like that's another thing. People just saying shit, just people just getting takes off. The AI had to be trained on something, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it couldn't have been pulled out of a vacuum, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of comics, yeah, you look at it and you be like, yeah, that looks, but that's what it got it from. You know, that's the references it used.
Yeah. It looks like this because AI was trained on this.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the unfortunate thing. That's why, like, probably about a year ago, when I kind of saw a wide majority of AI gen crap being sort of like the Photoshop painterly style, I was like, man, there's a lot of artists that I know that have that style. I'm like, I feel bad because like
Yeah, right.
they're gonna face people saying like, did you really draw this? And it's like there's people who I've been following for 10, 15 years that I know, like I've seen them build their skills. And
Right,
now
right,
it's like
right.
they stole their shit to train this motherfucking thing. And now they're gonna be facing claims of, oh, you didn't draw this. And I'm like, this is like shitty for anybody who draws or paints in any kind of way that is like frequently used by AI. It's like now you like to be authentic, you gotta either suck.
Yeah,
You gotta kind of not be good at it. Like you
yeah,
can't really be at the peak of the craft because like AI tries to do everything at the best quote unquote quality. So it's like you get and that's why I was actually at C2E2. We were going around. My cousin was like, "Man, I'm kind of sick of seeing all this anime art." He's like, "Because it's so hard for me to know whether or not it's AI." He's like, "Because everybody's drawing like if people draw Goku, like you're drawing Goku in the Dragon Ball Z style. So like if I'm turning a corner and I see a Goku, is it AI? I don't know because if that's how everyone draws it. And we came across uh, uh was it Marcus Johnson? Is that his name? No,
mm,
Charles. I forget his name. I'm terrible with names, but he had some drawings of anime characters, but they were in like a more realistic style. And we were like, this is what we're actually looking for, like somebody doing this in like their own take
right.
so that we know it's something different. We know it's something
Yeah,
you did and you made choices for.
yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, and it's tough because I mean, it's like it just feels like everything's been leaned to this because comics have a more. I remember reading Fables. This is one of the first. This is one
Mm,
of the first
great fucking
times.
series.
Amazing, but like, because I read manga more so as a kid, so it was like recently I'm having like the dissonance between starting the book with one artist and then the different. And you read Fables, and it's like the first volume is amazing because it's hand drawn, and then like immediately to me the art quality just changes, and to me it drops off, and it's like so we've already been moving away from traditional 2D animation, like or 2D animation, like hand drawn. I guess I say hand drawn. Damn, hand drawn. What do they call it? Like
Tra-
physical. I'm
Traditional
so
style, yeah.
traditional. I'm so damn tired. I can't even. And so it's all yeah. We just all it's just all headed to that direction, and I think there's going to be pushback. I think like it sucks because there's a lot of good stuff. The Ultimate series was good. The Absolute Batman series was good. There was a lot of reason to be excited about Kickstarter in like the last 2 months. I say Kickstarter comics. The last 2 months have been kind of shitter. Uh, and yeah, it's not fun.
You said Absolute Batman was good. You're saying it's good.
Absolute Batman was good. Yeah.
I think I read it because I got it for free. I read the first. I got the Batman Day edition. When I saw the design, I was like, absolutely not. no, like I think the Batman design is atrocious. So I was like, I'm never gonna read this. Like this is very clearly not for me. And then when I found out about the whole chest axe thing, I'm like, you bit that off of Knights of King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. Like that's no, absolutely not. And like, and
I
so
will say,
I was
I
like, I'm
like,
not gonna read it. And then I visited a shop. It was a new shop. They were like, hey, thanks for stopping by. They had like a bunch of copies of this thing because they gave it out to shops basically for Batman Day. And he was like, here, have this for free. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. And I was like, I didn't make a thing out of it, but I was like, I got it home and I was like, yeah, I might as well read it. And I was like, it's fine. Like,
so when I said it was good, I more or less mean it was fine, but like because I kind of like read it because I've been reading just Scott Snyder's Justice League stuff, and I think it's amazing. Like it makes the absolute Batman stuff is kind of like because it's not really conceit, you know. It's kind of like what if Batman was poor, but he still got like all the tech, so it's like all right, it's
you
like
can't
didn't
get
really.
that big without having money either.
Yeah, I mean, well,
That's a
I
lot of
can.
calories. That's a
I'm
lot
not
of
gonna okay,
calories.
I'm not gonna be that pedantic to say that he can't be big, but like in terms of like if you still have a giant tank, because
Right.
the tank is huge. The tank was the size, bro. It was the size of the sewer plant. It's like, oh, I'm broke. I'm broke as fuck. It's like so I like Absolute Batman for sure, but like it wouldn't be top five favorite Scott Snyder stories. I'd probably go with the 2016 over this one probably.
Yeah, I'm excited to catch up on Ultimate. I read the first like probably volume or two for all of it. Um, X-Men was the hardest to get into because it just the visual style. I love her stuff when she does
Yeah.
her own thing, but the visual style really, I really had to like fight my brain to be like, this is in the same universe. Like
Yeah, no,
I
that's
promise this is in the same place. Like,
and it might be better. Like it might be better off for having that different style. Like I
yeah.
think
And I
that
mean,
and
as a whole,
that
it might
shit
also
not
read
AI,
better.
bro. You can't look at that shit and say it's AI. Like
No, no, and
yeah,
that's
like
yeah, and that's why I've been like really adamantly every show I've been to, everybody selling prints. I'm like, yo, you should do like a sketchbook, show your process. And
it's annoying that they have to
I'm
do
saying
that.
it out of a little bit out of selfishness because I collect sketchbooks and art
Oh yeah.
books. So like I want that because I also don't collect prints anymore. But I'm like, this shit is really good. But I'm like, I'd love to get this in like a book format so I can put it on a shelf. And but also not necessarily when I'm suspicious, but just in general, if I think somebody's good, I'm like, you're gonna want this because you're gonna want to be able to show people, like, yeah, no, this is I do this, like,
That sucks.
which
Yeah, I
sucks.
get
Yeah, it does suck. It does suck because
yeah, it sucks.
I challenged someone who I'm like 97% sure was AI when I saw it. I was like, oh, do you have like a sketchbook? I like to see him process and how this stuff is built. And they kind of like paused. I was like, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, nah, that's embarrassing. That's fucking crazy. But um yeah, man, that's the state of comics, bro. I mean, like it's funny because and it's so funny because the whole I would always take offense to the whole like, oh, you just make money because it's sexy or whatever. And I'm like, yo, there's a lot of craft at hand that you're not really acknowledging when you kind of make that kind of statement.
Oh,
But
100%.
that feels so like not even an issue anymore. Like that is like seemed like such a good problem to have relative to this.
Right?
It's like, oh, just take me back to just shitting on NSFW stuff. Now it's like, oh shit, can this shit even and the shit'll exist. It was still the I think you're gonna see more NSFW conventions. I think there's gonna be an alternate. I think it's just the messed up part is that you don't want Brian Polito to like go on his way. You want him to be on Kickstarter because he's gonna draw people to Kickstarter. You don't want these people to leave and take their audiences with them. Um, and I don't know, man.
No,
Yeah,
I feel you, man. I feel you. And there is that. That's the thing. Like, I've the only the only Lady Death material that ever really interested me was the run that they did when she was under CrossGen's label. And they
hmm
never even finished that book, which upsets me because I know the script exists and I know the art exists because he put it up on the was it Heritage Auctions or whatever.
hmm
So I was like, I know the art exists. I know the script exists because he wouldn't have made the art without the script. So I'm like,
Right.
can somebody just slap this shit together
What
for me?
happened?
Somebody do a little lettering for me and make this shit happen. because I really liked that book, but it was like it was more of like a medieval kind of thing, and it wasn't so much the hell shit and the big titty shit, and like which again, I don't make any judgments on people. You like what you like and you read what you read.
Yeah,
I read erotica shit, but like just what I was looking for out of that character, I was like, I feel like there's a different approach to this. And like when I read the early 90s shit, I was like, yeah, this isn't really for me. And then when
yeah,
I came back to it, I was like, oh, okay. Like a different take and it's a completely different approach, but like, similar elements. And I'm like, all right, this is interesting. But like, you know, if you look at realistically, if we just go off covers, like Witchblade could fall under erotica. You know what I'm saying? Like just over the years,
yeah.
they've pushed that boundary to the max.
And it's
Like
just funny because it's just like you can just depend. Like people are gonna be hungry and horny. Like that's the two things you can depend
factual,
on.
factual.
And yeah, like it just man, yeah, it's comics it's it's just a mess, bro. It's just a mess, and I just think I'm just scared of, who could have been the next, Ram V or what have you that now can't even make now it's even being threatened that they can make their own comic books. And it's funny because somebody was like, oh, if Alan Moore launched on Kickstarter that he would make $5,000, which I lampooned that take. But now it's like, well, you can't fucking advertise Watchmen. Like you can't show off Watchmen, like
I
that
mean, yeah.
shit. They're doing violence too. They're doing blood. They're doing blood too. You can get flagged for violence too.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I didn't even catch that. That's fucking crazy.
bro. Like yeah. So like it's like what can you?
What?
They're gonna come for the furries next. Like you're it's
Dude, I mean, just say you don't want fucking comics on your platform at this point. What the fuck?
and I think that's what
Violence?
they're trying to do is they're trying to like gracefully basically dissolve the Kickstarter comic category. And I think they're
Which is
trying, and
crazy.
this is why I'm kind of like I'm not trying to be anti Kickstarter in the sense that because once again we don't know, but also like if it's striping and it's too much trouble, like I can't even blame them at that point. And if that's the inevitable conclusion, then like I'm glad that they allowed me to make money. 'Cause I'm glad they're allowing us to try to make more money and kind of offload our audiences or what have you. So in that regard, I'm like happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just might be an unfortunate situation. We don't know. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
definitely an
mean,
unfortunate situation. We just don't know. We just don't know much of anything.
yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize they were also expanding to violence. That 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 feels like it ties into this uh what are they calling it? White supremacy, Christian fucking shit that
Fundamentalist.
fundamental. Yeah, yeah, this shit that's just trying to happen. That they're trying to push forward on like, oh, we can't do this. They're trying to get rid of porn in general, and I'm like, first of all, that's crazy because that's how dangerous things happen. Because then if you take that out, if you take that even out as a career path for somebody, that is gonna turn into less regulated spaces as it has in the past, and it's gonna endanger people. But they don't actually give a shit
They
about
don't give
people,
a fuck,
so
bro. They
so
don't. They don't give a fuck. Yeah.
that's not necessarily a bad thing to them. So,
Somebody said it's very Mormon coded, and I was like, yeah, that's probably the best.
which is
That's
crazy. Which is crazy. I mean, like,
It's comics. But that ultimately the core argument, and this is what I've been saying for years, is Kickstarter is not a comic book platform, and this is the reminder, and I can't blame anybody, including myself, for doubling down on Kickstarter. Um, but we had to make our money. You know what I'm saying?
of
Like,
course, of
like we
course.
who knows where I can get. I might have seen like the biggest check I ever get in my life. I'll probably never get something that big again. Like it's so it's you can't really blame anybody, but it's
Have you tried doing a backer kit? I've backed some stuff on backer kit. Um, Zoop is a little young as far as like a platform. There's limitations there. Even as a user, I'm like, this is hard. It's hard to get around.
That's the problem. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm looking at different solutions and stuff like that for sure. But like I said, we don't know. And then somebody pointed out, I, yeah, I think what I think is going to happen is going to shake out, but it's going to be the same thing that's happening. It's very convenient to have comics in like one of like three or four places, like when comics was Kickstarter, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook. Okay, cool. I immediately know where to go to. Now it's like who knows?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely gotten harder, I will say, but I don't know. I still feel like I'm coming across TikTok is still TikTok is
Yeah.
still a great platform for coming across. It's so fascinating to me. As long as I've been on even on TikTok and been part of like my feed is almost exclusively comic books at this point.
Hell yeah.
Besides all the shit that TikTok's trying to get me to buy. Uh, and I still come across new people. And
Yeah.
what I love getting is people who are brand new. They've just got their first copies of their first comic in, and I'm like, that's fucking great. Like this is a great moment to be a part of this. Or somebody I forget the young man's name, but he just put out like a little 10 pager, like a little 10-page first issue. That's like I'm presuming that's what he could afford, and that's what he put out. And I was like, all right, bet. So like
Yeah.
it's I like being able to connect to people like that because I feel like I don't know, Instagram algo is crazy. It like really picks and chooses the shit that it shows me out of the things that I engage with. It's really decided that that's my like home for Balkan shit.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like yeah, you're Balkan. You like Balkan food. Yeah, every other fucking swipe is gonna be Balkan shit. Here's like Balkan memes. Here's Balkan food. Here's
Okay.
Balkan cars. I'm like, God damn it! Like,
That's crazy.
I do follow a lot of fucking comic book people on this too, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
once a day. You get that once a day. Like,
Nah, yeah, I mean, who knows, man? Yeah, TikTok, it could be good or it's user is and this is the benefit of a Kickstarter user base or like a comic user base is they want comics. Like you might follow a Kickstarter person or a Twitter TikTok person and like not have intention of ever buying a comic book.
right.
Like we just don't know. We just don't know. So it'll be fun to revisit this in 6 months and kind of see where we're at.
It's gonna be definitely an interesting situation, man. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I think as far as getting me to get on campaigns that I would have maybe missed out on or maybe wouldn't have even had an opportunity to see. Because when I have a moment to breathe at work, I just go on Kickstarter. And
Hmm.
then when on that first page and that little recommended, it's like big booty bitches, and I'm like, nope, got to close this window because I got
Yeah.
I work with almost exclusively women. Like I'm not gonna be that guy in the office space.
Yeah, yeah, right, 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 right.
And like B, like I'm on company property, so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
like I want that in my search history. So it's like now if I can browse a little more, maybe I'll see some more. But also like I don't know. Are we going to be back to 7 8 years ago where we're scrounging, we're begging on that last week of like, man, I need 10 more people to back. I need this. Like, is that where we're going to be? Because that wasn't a fucking fun time for anybody. As a backer, like for me, I was like, man, I really like this campaign. I really want this book. And then I see them, really, really struggling that last week. Then I'm put in a position of like, they're like 50 60 bucks away. I'm like I could up my thing. Like I don't really want to, but like but then it's
Yeah.
also like then I'm putting that whole thing on myself, and then that's not fair to me or anybody else who might be in that position, might love a project, and they're like $50 to $100 away, and they're like, maybe I can up my thing to make it cross the bar. But like it's when I loved seeing people who started with just making a campaign. I love seeing that over the last few years climb to you put something out and you get your fan base and you get new people and you just make it. You make it. Like it's easy. It's kind of like paint by numbers, and then you get
Yeah.
to a point where you're like a Pat Sham, where you're some of these bigger names that will be like new project, and it's like funded in 2 hours. Like you get those stages. Those are like the three stages. There's the
Yeah.
people who are going to be like, all right, I'm putting this thing out, and then like now it's funded, and then that was it. And then there's the people who now have done that enough times that there's like a fan base of like, I'm putting this thing out 2 3 hours, 5 hours funded, versus the people who are just starting out, or people who don't listen to Anthony Stokes, and don't market
A lot of that.
because they're like, I don't understand why I got to market.
And that yo, that's I gotta go unfortunately, but that's a whole other can of worms, man.
Yeah, we'll get back into that. All right, man. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for taking the time. I really want to talk about this. I wanted to kind of keep it while it was still fresh in the space. So I
yeah.
appreciate your time. Let the people know where they can find you, and buy your shit.
Let me ask you something real quick though. Do you think people are reasonably frustrated with Kickstarter right now? Because your original post
Oh, I
was
mean,
a little
I think people definitely have a reason to be frustrated. I didn't, I was not at any point. I mean, I'm sure it came off that way, and I'll take. That's my problem, is I'm way too direct, and I'm like, how do I say this in the fewest amount of words possible? And then
yeah.
that comes off with like, you're not considering any of the other things, and I'm like, that's not what I was saying. I was just saying that like, it was more meant to be of the we can vote with our wallets kind of idea.
I
Like
think
if
that yes, I think that was poorly articulated, but
Yeah, I think that was
that is
my
true.
initial thing, was like, hey, if we all just like say fuck them, and we go to
Yes,
fucking backer kit for 6 months or a year, and they see like, oh, why are we down 500,000, 5 million, $10 million? Oh, it's because all the
they wouldn't give a fuck. I'll stop
yeah,
you right there. Kickstarter wouldn't give. That is literally one GI Joe campaign to get this hypothetical
yeah,
figure you're
you
talking
right,
about.
you right.
But I do think what you were saying is important, and what you're saying in terms of if you are a backer, right? Like if you are a backer, then you can vote with your dollars. I think 100%. That makes 100% sense. Now, if you're a creator, it's a lot. There's a lot more nuance. So I get what you're saying now. Social media is at Stokes the Writer on Twitter, Decay Comic on Instagram, and decaycomic.com is my personal website, which I have to plug now. That's new. And yeah, it's make
Maybe
comics.
I get a few side gigs helping people out with their websites from now on.
Rich man, we can talk. We can
We could
talk.
definitely talk, man. I've been offering this for years. Nobody take me up on it. I don't know.
They're
Have you
gonna
seen a
knock.
little website called dcsowhite.com? I
They're
built that.
gonna knock. They're gonna knock down your door now, bro.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here to help out. Thank you again, man. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. And we will see you in the next one.
Everybody wanna disrespect to the fist connect. Talking that talk on the internet, but when faced up, got the list correct.